episode 102.
Are you ready to take your eBay business to the next level? Then hold on, because Ron and Ali are going to take you into the fast lane with the latest tips and insights from some of the biggest and most successful sellers here on the So You Wanna Sell on eBay podcast.
Welcome once again to another episode of So You Want to Sell on eBay. I'm Ron LeBeau.
And I'm Ali Young.
Hey, everyone. We have with us today Casey Parris. Casey, how you doing today, man?
Hey, Ron. I'm very good. How about you?
I'm doing good here. How you doing, Ali?
I am doing absolutely fantastic. Great to have you with us, Casey.
Hey, it's great to be here, guys. I really appreciate you having me on.
Cool.
Oh, yeah. That's our pleasure, man. So Casey, a.k.a. Rockstar Flipper, is a full-time e-commerce eBay and Amazon reseller. Specializing in clothing and electronics, the Rockstar Flipper sources locally from thrift shops, pawn shops, Goodwills, and Salvation Army stores.
Rockstar Flipper. I mean, I've got flat feet, and they used to call me Flipper at school. But what's with the name Rockstar Flipper?
That's one of those names that came to me at 4 o'clock in the morning, like most things come into your head.
Like most things.
I knew that I wanted to use the word flipper because that is what I do for a living. I flip things. I buy them and I immediately turn them over and flip them. I couldn't come up with anything else, so the best thing I could come up with was, if you're going to do something, be a rock star at whatever you do. So,
well, you know what? You've got a following, man. I'll tell you, right? I mean, you got enough people following you with that Rockstar Flipper. I love it, man.
But he hasn't got a green Mohican. Where's his green Mohican? I thought all rock stars had funny haircuts.
Green mohawk. I actually just recently shaved my head for a charity event. So
cool.
Yeah, we'll have to work our way up to that green crazy spike hair.
Cool, man. So you go out thrifting then?
Yeah, I do. So almost 7 days a week, wherever I am, I pretty much plan a schedule and I plan my day around sourcing for inventory for the stores because I have employees and I have 2 stores, an eBay and Amazon store. So I have to keep them supplied 7 days a week. Yeah,
very cool, man. So how do you come about getting an employee? I mean, let's go back. Let's go. We're going to come on to the employees in just a minute.
Come on,
here.
Let's
go
Let's start
way
from
back.
the beginning, Ron.
Let's start back in the way beginning here.
He's
how did you come about building this business and then building? I mean, you've got a small empire going on here. How does this come about? Let's go back to day one here.
Day one, moved to Florida. I'll just start from when I moved to Florida, which is day one for me, adulthood, 19 years old. Out of high school, and don't want to work for anyone. My father and brother I have an older brother, worked hard their whole lives. They have good lives, but they don't have freedom. They don't have the ability to do what they want. They've worked for someone else, and the level that they're at is where they'll be at, and that's it. And so the 2 things that put me into that position was I didn't want to listen to anyone, and I wanted the freedom to go not only do what I wanted, but to be what I wanted. Whether it was a $50,000 a year guy or a $50 million a year guy, I don't want limits. And that's
nice.
That's how I explain my whole life, limitless.
So how long ago was this when you moved to Florida?
So I'll be 32 years old, and I moved here right out of high school around 19, maybe the summer when I was turning 20. So this will make 12 years that I've been in Florida this summer, and I've been reselling ever since.
So how long have you been doing it full-time? I mean, obviously, you probably didn't start full-time right out of the chute, right?
Correct, yeah. I worked for another reseller that's in a niche communications business for a couple of years, which gave me the full-time paycheck to kind of build the base, the money I needed to go out and buy things. And I was still, while I was working for him, at nighttime doing my research, learning, starting my store, selling a few items here and there, weekend yard selling, just getting a feel for the business as I built until the time. It probably took 2 years till I made enough in a week where I was like, your paycheck isn't worth showing up for. And so many nice words.
Nice.
Exactly. So there's 2 schools of thought, and I know you probably have heard many of these, but some people on eBay, they niche down. I only buy candles and I know my candles really, really well. Or, anything that I can sell on eBay, I will sell. And you probably, and I don't know this for sure, but I'm thinking you're probably the latter there, right?
Correct. And that has come with a lot of mistakes. So I have niched several times where I've just tunnel visioned into X merchandise. And I'm an electronics guy. I enjoy tech and that sort of thing. So I've niched into those things. And when I niche into those things, I realize when you're good at something, you can be really good at it and do really good. But when that market slows down, you have nothing to rely on or fall back on. So that's when I had to open my horizons. And
nice. And then you dived into the thrift store, did you?
I did. So it's been about 5 or 6 years since probably 2012, 13, when I really got the feel for how cheap you could get merchandise from thrift stores and garage sales and Goodwills. So
Yep.
Anywhere you can get a source of cheap merchandise, it doesn't matter what it is. And if it's cheap and you can sell it, by all means.
It's fair game to everyone. That must be so much fun. I mean, so you're out there. I mean, I've just visioned. I've never been to America. They won't let me in. But I vision that it's massive.
Good reason. You got a big elephant,
That's another podcast show. That's later on. But these big, massive warehouses, there must be loads of items. Do you start on one side and work your way across to the other? I mean, what's your sort of thrifting technique?
Yeah, so I was actually at a store today, and if I had to guess, it's around 10 or 12,000 square feet. And one corner is furniture, and one corner is house goods, and most of the store is clothing. That's what they get the most of. But the sections are men's and women's and children's and maternity. And so I know the men's section the best, so I tend to gravitate towards that. And then I just work my way up the store, looking row by row by row, flipping through the rows. And as you gain experience, you can do it quicker and quicker. So yeah, I can tear through these stores in an hour or two and then move on to the next one. And that's I make a route. I plan a route. I have an entire video series about planning your day and planning a route. One of the most important things about being a thrifter is planning, like absolutely planning.
Yeah, and I can just envision the employees at a thrift shop seeing you pull up and they, here he comes again, going out with 3 shopping carts full of stuff, right?
Yeah, they get to know you pretty well. They do remember faces.
I mean, it's great. Absolutely. So then you would, so that would be every day you say you're doing that. You would then come home and then you would take pictures and then list it on eBay, would you?
Yeah, so my fiance, who's a huge help with my business, we've been together for most of this journey. We're going on 9 years together, from dating to engaged to married next year. And
yes.
I'm going to seal the deal. But she's a huge help. So she's at home behind the scenes while I'm out doing my buying and sourcing the stuff from the day before. She's photographing and listing and using all of her knowledge. She's really knowledgeable in this stuff too. She researches all day. So she'll get it all listed. So then when I come home, I give her all the new stuff, and that's what she has for the next day. So we got a little system in place.
Does she ever think that you've got the fun job? I'm just thinking out loud here.
Women like to shop.
Now I can't let her listen to this podcast because it's true. Women want to be out there shopping, but I know that she kind of gets a little stressed over whether she's buying the right merchandise or whether she's paying the right prices or, negotiating with people. That side of it, she's not so big on. I imagine if it was just as simple as shopping and grabbing whatever she wanted, it would probably be right up her alley. But she is a full-time photographer. Outside of helping me, she does photography, so she loves sitting at home taking pictures. She loves it.
Well, that's really cool. And there was a joke there, but, really the reality of it is that anybody that works together with, a partner, it's really awesome to see that you go do your thing, you come home, she does her thing, and it just works. I mean, that is just really, really fluid how that works. That's awesome.
Right. We've been in the same office for 8 hours a day together. That does not work.
Yeah.
Get out of my office. This is my office. Yeah. Yours is down there.
Right. So we gotta do our separate thing, and then we can come back and have a powwow about what I bought, what she's listed, what she had issues with, what we should price things at. We get all that information together, and then we're done. And then the next day we can rinse and repeat.
We had a great question from a guy called Jim on our show, and he talks about pricing, especially with thrifting. How do you know what it's worth?
So that's a twofold question, and it's a great question. We get a lot of these, and a lot of it is through just research. Like, even as many things as I've sold in my lifetime, and currently we sell about 1,000 items a month, I don't know everything. In fact, I don't know a lot of things. I probably know less than about 1 little percent of something than 99% of it. So we look it up. We constantly use our phones. I live on my phone. I have a backup battery case for my phone, so while I'm out thrifting, I can just keep looking stuff up. Obviously, when you buy something, you do good on it, you learn it, you remember it. So if you see it again, you can grab it. So that's been able to help me sort through stuff as I'm in the store quickly. I can just throw stuff. Nope. We have 10 of those. They have never sold. Just move along.
Exactly.
Versus,
Nothing to see here. Nothing to see here.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome, man. It sounds like you got a pretty full day. I mean, what I imagine you're probably working 10-hour days anyhow, right? Minimum?
Sourcing is probably, I'm usually out by 9 in the morning, usually get home at 5 or 6. So I'm usually out 7 or 8 hours sourcing. And then when I get home, behind the scenes work, a couple hours on the computer, probably a solid 12-hour day just taking care of the resale business. I still answer messages while I lay in bed. So
yeah, wow, man.
Do you ever rock up to someone's house? You ever drive along and see something in their garden or their yard, as you call it in America, and think, "Ooh, that looks nice"? Have you ever done anything weird like that?
I'm guilty of this too. I'll be what's worse is I'll be out at like a shopping center or mall and I'll see somebody with a really cool outfit and I'll be like, I bet I could sell that for $50 if it was in a thrift store.
Yeah. Everything's got a price tag on it, doesn't it?
Like you want to ask the guy like how much to take your shirt off right now? I'll give you $5 for it.
You might get hit.
I notice and see a lot of things that I didn't used to notice. And driving by houses, I'll notice a lot of things.
It's amazing. I mean, you've been doing this for quite a while now, so you got a good idea. When you walk up to a garage sale, I don't know how you do the poker face. When you see that item that that you're gonna buy for $2 and sell for $30. How do you keep that somber look on your face, going, yeah, I'll give you $1.50 for it.
Yeah, so that's a great question too. A lot of people ask about looking items up at garage sales as opposed to, oh my God, there's the home run. And when that happens, you kind of you got to go after the $2 or $3 items and kind of try to negotiate with them on the $2 or $3 item and then say, while I'm here, I might as well take that gold bar with me.
Yeah. That's a great idea. Diversion, man. Diversion. Deflection, exactly. I guess. Yeah.
Exactly.
That's really cool. That's really cool.
It's having fun, isn't it? You're going out, you're hustling, you're sourcing, you're bringing it back. So the part I want to know is, you do the sourcing, she does the listing. Who does the shipping?
We both do. So typically one of the last things that we do in the evening is we print all the shipping labels. We do 1-day shipping. So everything that sells before midnight has to go out the next day. So literally around 11 or 12 when we go to bed, we print all our labels. And then when I wake up in the morning, I'll pull all the items and I'll put them on top of the label. So she's got them already. And then she's just got to stick the label on and throw it in the envelope. So kind of another part of our system.
Listen how Casey did that. All she has to do now, if she listens to this, you cannot let her listen to this because the way you said that, all she has to do is stick that label on. I have a feeling. You know what, Ali? We need to get her on the show.
Yeah, we
separate,
do.
Right?
Revenge podcast.
We need both sides of the story because all she has to do. I love that, man. That was really.
Stay tuned for part 2.
Yeah, that's it.
Right, man. Exactly. That's awesome. That's awesome.
It's great that you're both having fun with it because that's what it's about, isn't it? I mean, if it was boring, you wouldn't be doing it. You're having fun. You're enjoying it. I mean, you're going to get married. You can't be fighting that much.
No, we don't. We rarely have disagreements over the reselling. We're kind of on autopilot. Like she knows what she has to get done. I know what I have to get done. And there's very rarely an issue. I mean, it comes up once in a while. An item got shipped wrong or whatever. And we just fix it and move on because that one item is going to kill you on 1,000 items if you spend all day trying to argue and fix one item. Just move on, get it done and move on. And that's a really big part of reselling and being a hustler is you can't let one bad day of going to stores and nothing's there or not having any sales affect you, because if you do, you're going to be thinking about it for a week or a month and it's just going to wreck you.
And the same way, I think along those lines, the same way as a customer, you knew you sold him a good quality product and they asked for a refund because it was defective or some stupid thing like that, right? You just, we hear it all the time. You just cannot let that bother you. Refund the money because it's not worth the negative feedback, and just refund the money and just move on, be done with it, right?
Right, correct. Yeah, I think about it this way, I get this a lot of questions like this on my YouTube channel is about those refunds, or should I help this customer? Should I fight it? I'm like, listen, you made what, $15 or $20 profit? Send them the $15 because the amount of time you're about to spend on that $15, you could have made 3, 4, 5, 6 times that. Just move on with it. Don't waste your time. And then if it becomes where it's happening over and over again, you need to fix what you're doing to make it not happen.
Yeah, great.
That's right. I mean, it's a mental game, right? Because if you let that thing bother you, if you let that thing just sit there and eat at you like you shouldn't do, it's going to ruin your day. It's going to, have a negative impact on your business, and nothing positive is going to come from it, right?
That's
so
right.
If there's people out there, and there are, that are going to do that, just let them go. Be done with it. It's just part of doing business. The cost of doing business.
Yeah, one of the scary things people think about is that happening. And I can tell you, we sell 1,000 items, individual items a month. One time a month, I get somebody that's a pain. And typically out of those 12 people a year, only 2 or 3 of them are actually relentless bad customers. You're talking thousands and thousands of transactions. You only have to deal with a couple a month or a couple a year.
It's nothing.
It's nothing.
Yeah,
Trust me, nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's going to happen in any business. I mean, that's just anytime you deal with when you're dealing with people, you're going to have that.
Yeah, I'll give the listeners a mental picture. When was the last time you were inside a Walmart and looked at the customer return line? Just a thought.
Absolutely, man. That's a great point. I mean, they've got shopping carts full of things that people have returned, and they realize it's just a cost of doing business, right?
Ron and Ali will be right back after this short break.
Do you want to set yourself apart from other eBay sellers? Want to look like one of the big brands? How would you like to feel confident that you could do it yourself, but know that the support is there if you get stuck? Now you can create your branded eBay store and have your store doing more. With Auction Pro Templates Premium Do-It-Yourself eBay Template. This template is loaded with tools and features you won't find in any other system. Go to yourstoredoingmore.com now to see what's included. That's yourstoredoingmore.com.
Be sure to check out SoYouWannaSellOnEBay.com for the latest podcasts and all the information you need to get selling fast.
So what about storage? I mean, do you have warehouses full of stuff? I mean, you said you're selling 1,000 individual items a month. I mean, how do you manage that side of the business?
Yeah, so we operate on a 1 to 2% a day sell-through rate. Which basically means 30% per month, and I'm selling 1,000. So I inventory about 3,000 to 4,000 units at any one time items. We're about and so I have a small office. It's only about 600 square feet. I sublease it from someone. Couple thousand items, probably half are stored there, and then our garage, we have the clear storage bins that you would put clothing in or crafts. They're the good size. Probably about 30 to 40 items per bin, and we bought some new ones today. I think we're up to about 40 bins. So we have another 12 to 1,400 items in the bins, and they're all labeled with letters and numbers. So as soon as an item sells, we know exactly what bin letter or bin number to go to pull the item. So we can pull our items in seconds.
Do you do like A1 or something like that? I mean, is that?
Yeah, exactly. So like I'm a big seller of men's neckties. I do really well on them. And I'm looking at our bins now. We have A1, A2, all the way through A9, and then we have B1 through B9, and then C1 through C9.
Bingo! Oh, sorry. I just felt compelled.
Wrong one.
Exactly. Yeah. So when the tie sells, it's labeled on the eBay listing with A1, and I know exactly to go to A1, and there it is. It's the orange striped necktie in A1. Bang, pull it out, and in it goes. So
you make it sound so easy.
It really is. If you don't, again, this goes back to if you don't have a process and a system, it's one of the most important things. You're going to just crash and burn. You can have all the inventory and all the profit in the world, but with no system, no organization, you'll crash.
Ali, we hear that all the time, don't we? I mean,
we better start doing it though, Ron. I mean, it's
I know, man. I got to get a system in place for you.
I can tell you the fastest way to do it is to have a fiance at home that has to handle it.
Right. And again, reason
out
number
with the
4
wife.
why she can't listen to the podcast.
Yeah, I've got a wife. That's the problem. Out with her. I need a fiance, obviously.
Yeah, try that, man. See how that works for you, Ali.
You'll have more problems than inventory.
Yeah. So the postman must love you then. You go down. I mean, people behind you in the queue must think, "Oh God, let's not get stuck behind this guy." But you're going down there with loads and loads of stuff, I imagine. Yeah.
Yeah, we used to. So we've recently here in America, and I don't know about over there, but they'll schedule pickups for us now. So when the regular mailman comes to deliver our envelopes and mail, he comes to the door instead of just our mailbox, and he picks up the packages. And we don't ever have to go down there anymore. We used to go down there and stand in line for hours. Such a huge waste of time. So if you're a reseller, tip number 1, at least in America, schedule your pickups for your packages, even if it's 1 or 2 a day, they will come and they will pick them up from your door and you don't have to leave.
Yeah, I mean, nice. But now, do you treat your mailman good at Christmas time? Because I only imagine, I'm just delivering envelopes, and I look on your porch and I see 30 or 40 boxes of things. I'm like, you know what? You just made my day, right?
Yeah. So, I tend to leave some nice gift cards around the Christmas time and during the holidays. I carry my packages out the door, though. Our dogs can hear him pull up in the mail truck. It's, rumbling truck. So I have a pretty good idea when they go crazy that he's out there. So I'll tend to carry him out to his truck for him. I try not to make him do too much work.
Yeah, and you can always give him the leftovers, the stuff you don't sell. Here, I thought of you. Here you go, Mr. Postman.
Here's a purple rug.
Yeah. I think it'll suit your eyes. Yeah, no, brilliant, man. So he must love you. So it's just having fun then, aren't you?
Yeah, I love the thrill of the hunt. My biggest reason why I do this, not just for the freedom, is I love going out and scoring. Like, I love finding an item for $1 that's worth $100. And I did it yesterday. I paid $10 for a coat yesterday. It's currently got people watching it for $250 right now.
Wow.
So, yeah, it doesn't happen that often, but when it happens, it's phenomenal. It's score. Yep.
So have you ever lost a lot? Have you ever, you've been out there, you thought this was the item of the century and didn't quite go to plan?
Yeah, it's happened more than I care to. I mean, most of the times I lose money, it's just me not being careful, not taking the time. I'm a big seller of video games. So I'll buy video game systems and I'll forget to test them, or I won't fully test them. And then later on, we discover something's not working. The joysticks don't work. It doesn't read games, and I'll be out $50 or $60. It happens. I try not to let it happen too often, but it does.
You learn from it.
You do, yeah. You learn to slow down. That's a huge tip too. Is take your time. Nothing's worth losing money over, and I have to tell myself that a lot.
Well, exactly. Yeah. I mean, the excitement, right? I mean, the excitement of, taking a chance on something and you have to really step back and think about it and say, hey, is this really, a good item to buy?
Yeah, correct. And sometimes we fall into the, if it's too good to be true category too. So you just it's no reason, no excuse. You only have yourself to blame because we all have smartphones. If you don't want to take the 2 minutes to look it up or research it and find out, you've only got yourself to blame. Which is the other reason I love this business. If I make it, it's because I did it. If I fail, it's because I failed.
That's right. Wow. So what about something that you get a thrift store that you can get at a really good price, but there's anywhere of history on eBay?
Those are the interesting items, and those are the items I get the most questions about. I've created a Facebook group recently. We started it about 90 days ago, and it's up to 15,000 members. And we created it for those sort of out-of-the-way questions and items. People can take a photograph and post the item, and then hopefully somebody else in the group has sold it previously or has some knowledge. And so far, I can't think of any items that haven't been able to be identified. In that case, if you have a truly unique item, I would suggest auctioning it. Start it at the lowest price that you would want to take for it. If you think it's worth $20 or $30 and that's as low as you want to go, start it at $20 or $30 and let it auction. If no one bids on it, then you might have messed up. If they do bid on it and you make money, great.
I think we've had someone on the show before. I think they had this really ugly looking dog with one eye or something. I mean, stuff like this. It's a freak out. I think he did quite well, actually. I can't really remember, but
it wasn't a real dog.
No, it wasn't a real dog. They weren't selling their mums, sort of Jack Russell or something. This was like a fake dog, stuffed dog. It was once a dog, but now not a dog.
Oh, I was going to ask if his name was Lucky.
Well, I don't think he's that lucky. He only had one eye. I think they called him Cyclops, I think.
I think that was the point, Ali. I think that was Casey's point. But go ahead, keep going.
Cool. So
I won't quit my day job.
No, don't. There you go. You don't need to. That's the great thing about it, isn't it? I mean, why would you want to quit? So this leads to the next question. What's the future going to be then? You're going to build this massive empire, or what are you thinking?
So I have two sides of the building. I want to continue to grow the inventory until we require another employee, maybe 2 employees, which we're coming full circle here. But at that point, I would want to get a full-time warehouse for them to just ship and store and do everything out of as a system where I don't have to be there. And I would like to purchase in bulk. So I love to go around. I'll never stop making my circles and thrifting, but I would like to purchase more inventory at once. So bulk purchasing is in my future. I'm searching for suppliers, kind of as we speak. So
there's a lot of them popping up.
What's that?
What is that? How do you do that? Is it you buy it by a big box or something, do you? Or how does that work?
So like Victoria's Secret will have items that don't sell like for a long time. They pull them off, they put them on a pallet, and they'll just wholesale it to other people at a cheap price. Or Walmart will maybe sell merchandise that's been returned, and you can buy it really cheap, pull all the good stuff out and sell it, and then scrap all the broken returns.
Give the rest to the postman.
Yeah, exactly. So things of that nature is being able to buy, because when I go around in an 8-hour day, I'm only one person. I can only buy so much. So to be able to click a button and in a few minutes buy an entire pallet or an entire truck of stuff is enticing to me. I like the idea of it.
So do you got a pickup truck or something you go around with? I mean, I imagine in an 8-hour day, if you're driving around to thrift stores and Salvation Armies all over the place, I mean, I'm sure you're don't tell me you're storing this stuff in your car.
So
because I know a little bit about your car.
All right, I'll plead the fifth here. Okay, so I don't buy anything that's typically very large. Everything I buy is pretty small. So a truck kind of doesn't work for me. I almost need something that gets very good gas mileage, or something that's an electric car, which I thought about long and hard. And I decided I was going to buy something that you could plug in an electric, good gas mileage, could run on a battery. And somehow I ended up deciding to buy, well, Ron, you can tell.
Yeah, it's like a BMW, i8?
Yeah, it's a BMW i8 hybrid electric supercar, basically. if you don't know what it is, go ahead and look it up. The engine's in the rear. The trunk doesn't exist. But based on what I buy, small items.
Thrifting vehicle, yeah, perfect.
Yeah, it is it gets a lot of looks when you pull up to the Salvation Army or the church thrift store.
Yeah. They're thinking we're selling this stuff.
You get a lot of looks when you when you drive up to your accountant's office and you try and tell him you need to write all these mileage off on your BMW i8.
Yeah, it turns out he's okay with the mileage. He gets a little upset when he wants to try to write the car payment off. But no, the car was it's fun to thrift with and drive with. We have an SUV. If I intend on buying a lot, I'll take that, but I love driving the car out, and I do get super awesome gas mileage. I can run on a battery, and it fits a lot of stuff, actually. Believe it or not, I put 3 or 4 garbage bags worth of clothes inside of that thing. So
nice.
Great. Now all these eBay sellers are going to go out and buy an i8.
I don't advise buying one, however.
And the great thing about it, if it doesn't work, you just sell it on eBay, can't you?
Yeah, I should put the Rockstar. Typically, when you put like somebody's name with their car on eBay, it gets like a lot of bids. So maybe I should flip it for a profit. Never thought.
Rockstar flipper. I don't know who he is, but he must be a rap star or something. I don't know. It's Rockstar flipper. I'm gonna bid on this thing.
Yeah, bid this thing up. All right, let's do it. When can we start the auction?
Exactly. Sunday at 6:15. I don't know.
It's time for a quick break, but the guys will be right back here on the So You Want to Sell on eBay podcast.
What's more exciting than starting your own eBay empire with one of Auction Pro Template's custom eBay store and listing template packages? How about saving yourself $200 when you do it? That's right. Right now, you can take advantage of starting your own totally custom eBay store for the insanely low price of $697 when you use promo code SAVE200 during checkout at AuctionProTemplates.com. You still get all of the amazing features and benefits as before, like a custom designed eBay store and matching custom eBay listing design, video tutorials, software, custom branding, 1-year free hosting, and so much more. But now you get to save yourself $200 doing it. So celebrate the start of something awesome with $200 in savings when you order your very own custom eBay store and listing template package. Go to AuctionProTemplates.com and check out all of the features and benefits of having a totally custom eBay store and use promo code SAVE200 today. David Kosciuszko is a guy who went bankrupt twice before the age of 30. He failed in business 3 times, lost everything, and even had to move his family into the basement of his mother's house. After a lot of trial and error, he learned how to buy used phones off Craigslist to sell on eBay. Within 8 months of selling on eBay, he did $250,000 in sales, working off a couch in his mother's basement. Now, he teaches thousands of people around the country his method on how he consistently sells close to $20,000 a month in used phones and electronics on eBay. Get his free ebook now at www.flipphonesforprofit.com.
We're back with more tips, insights, and interviews with Ron and Ali.
What's the weirdest thing you've ever sold then?
Oh, the weirdest thing we've ever sold. So one of the items that people love that I sold, it was in a bulk purchase, but it was a 1920s fire truck bell off of an original, one of those fire trucks that they had to pump it by hand to pump the water out of it. And the bell would dong as it was going down the road. I think I paid around $60 for it, and it sold for about $900.
Nice.
Very collectible. That was an interesting item. Some of the weirdest items we sold shrunken heads in a glass container.
I'm missing one.
Yeah, that was several years ago. They came from South America. We don't know where exactly, but they were inside of glass containers with that formaldehyde.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we sold 2 of those, and they sold for like $50 or $60 a piece.
We paid heads of what?
They were shrunken heads. I'm going to say they were collectible.
Okay.
I don't know whether they were actually collected or collectible. So, yeah, but we sold them, and eBay allowed it as a collectible item. So
very cool. I mean, hey, I like to collect my family's heads too. I guess.
I got my family all on my wall. It's brilliant. Yeah.
We have a reunion every week.
Well, I think you've actually done it there, Cassie. I think you have the weirdest thing ever sold on this podcast show. Would you say that, Ron?
Most definitely, without a doubt.
I mean, that one-eyed dog we thought was pretty cool, but shrunken heads.
Yeah, and it said collectible on the container, but I feel like we didn't want to open it. We inspected them at every angle, and we're still 50-50 on them.
All right, so where do you find these? How did you come up with these collectible heads?
Yeah, so that there was a gentleman. He lives out in a farm town near us they're really popular for farms, and he had a whole barn. This sounds like a cliche, but he had a huge barn of a family member. I think it was an uncle that died and was a collector and thrifter, and in our country we call them hoarders. And the barn had millions of items in it, and he had them all laid out on all these tables, just like shark's teeth. His uncle collected shark's teeth and shells, and just rows and rows and rows of antiques. And I'm just spent hours looking through this stuff. And literally next to last table, there's these 2 glass jars, no more than 8 or 10 inches tall, about 4 or 5 inches around. And they got this blue-green liquid in them. And when you pick it up, it had been sitting there a while. It came clear. The fuzziness wore off. And I could see it was, a South American look. Yeah, heads. And I picked up the other one. I'm holding both of them. I'm looking at them at about eye level. And I'm like, I turned to the guy and he goes, I don't know anything about it. And I said, are these real? And he goes, I don't know anything about it. And I was like, how much? And he's like, I don't know, give me $10 for both of them. And I was like, all right. And so
man.
Yeah, the fiance wasn't with me at the time. She was the girlfriend at the time. But I remember when I got them home, she asked me to not bring them in the house.
Yeah, exactly. That's awesome.
Shrunken heads, man. Well, we've run out of time here, Cassie. You're just so easy to talk to. You're so fun, man. And this is exactly why we need people like you on the show. Having fun. Selling stuff. I mean, going thrifting, buying the stuff, selling it, bringing it in with your fiance, making it a family thing. Postman's involved, shrunken heads. How is that not fun?
Oh, it's a blast. It's a joy. And it was fun being on the show.
Yeah, seriously.
We appreciate you being here, Casey.
Yeah, we really do, man. We'll post all the notes from today's interview on our show notes page, which can be found at www.soyouwantasellonebay.com/show notes. Casey, before you go, I mean, how can people get hold of you and your shrunken heads?
Very easy to find. YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, all 4 of them at Rockstar Flipper. It's all one word, Rockstar Flipper, exactly how it sounds.
Love it. I love that flipper.
Awesome.
It sort of goes with Twitter, Inger, Stinger, it goes with all of those social media things that we have these days. So thanks once again, Cassie, for joining us. It's been fantastic. From everyone here at So You Want to Sell on eBay, I'm Ali Young.
And I'm Ron LeBeau.
That's all for this episode of So You Want to Sell on eBay. Be sure to check out our next episode or any past episodes by going online to soyouwantasellonebay.com. Also, be sure to follow us on your favorite social media sites, facebook.com/So You Want to Sell on eBay, and Twitter @Your eBay Podcast. Thanks for listening, and until next time, happy selling.
Have an idea for a topic or know someone who would like to be on the show? Let us know. Just go to www.soyouwantasellonebay.com/interview. We look forward to hearing from you. This podcast was produced in part by Pro Voice Works.